Regular meeting for January 1st, 2015. If you will please stand for an invocation and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the leaders here on the dais. I ask you for your guidance and wisdom as we lead the city of Canby. Thank you for your grace and your favor for our city. We pray for healing for the families impacted by the recent car accidents on Highway 99E. Please protect our servicemen and women both here and abroad as they serve and protect. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Discover Canby, a Newcomers and Visitors Guide. Thank you. Oh, I guess I get to share.
That was for me.
I was hoping I'd get two.
Actually, I have one if you want to.
Oh, I do want two. Thank you.
See, I got
two. You do.
Did you just?
He did. He's been a teacher. He's supposed to eat everything.
I like
Bibliograph.
And I have a thing about creases. Drives my husband crazy.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and let me present the Discover Canby Newcomers and Visitors Guide brochure, which was recently completed by Canby Main Street and Economic Development. This project was meant to introduce newcomers and residents to Canby, the many attractions and fun things to do in town. Originally, this idea grew out of Main Street talks for strategies to promote downtown and to encourage people to spend more of their time there and more of their dollars in the downtown area.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mariah Dodson. For those of you who hadn't had a chance to meet with her, it just didn't seem appropriate. I know that you're kind of new to sitting in front, but just wanted to introduce you, let everybody know who you are, and that you're an intern working with us, and she's just doing a marvelous job.
Thank you for the introduction, Rick. And so anyways, so Canby does have a few visitor and business guides already, but we were looking around and saw a gap for a resource for all of the dining, shopping, and recreating options that are here. And so we wanted to fill that gap, and that gap was filled by this brochure. So as you can see here on the front, we have very colorful pictures. It's very bright and engaging, makes somebody want to learn more. On the inside, we have an event calendar of events that are held in the community throughout the year. It opens up into an area map with a lot of the parks, attractions, recreation options, agritourism, and opens up further again to see all of the shopping and dining options, other entertainment, as well as services such as banks and pharmacies. Many groups of people are going to get good out of this brochure. For residents, it can remind them of all the fun things there are to see and do here in Canby. And for newcomers, it can introduce them to the area and help them realize that everything they need is right here in Canby. There's not necessarily a need to leave town. And for visitors who are driving through on Highway 99 or attending an event at the Clackamas County Event Center, our list of fun activities can draw them in, make them want to linger longer. And they can patronize a few businesses instead of just one, or come back again to explore. And we've been very strategic in our distribution of these brochures. You can find them at a lot of the downtown businesses. They're at the Chamber, the Event Center, and other popular venues. And we're also working to widen our spread further into visitor information centers around the region, as well as mail them out to some of the top employers in Canby. It's also linked to the Explore Canby mobile app with this QR code here on the front. Makes it easy. You can just click and it'll take you right to the app. We've also created an online PDF version so you can put it on a website or social media, and this is already on the city website. And the funding for this brochure We printed 1,000 copies, came from the Clackamas County Tourism and Cultural Affairs with their community partnership grant, and this was facilitated by the Chamber of Commerce. And so this is a really good example of the strong partnership with Canby Main Street, the Chamber, and the county, and bringing tourism into Canby, and we expect to see a positive economic impact from these efforts. So I'd like to give many thanks to the many contributors who made this project a success. Mallory Gwynn and Audrey Tran at the Chamber were a big help. The Community Partnership Grant Committee, Renato Mengelberg and Jamie Stickle with the city, Bryce Frizzell, our web designer, Jamie Taylor, our GIS intern, and Buell's Impressions Printing for doing a terrific job bringing this project, making it a great success. Thank you.
And a great job presenting it, Mariah.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mariah, yes, that was, I remember my first presentation as a city staffer, and you knocked it out of the ballpark. Didn't even need notes for that. Nice work, and thank you for giving kudos to our partners that went in on this, that we're never going to be able to have the sort of community that we need to have just with one person or one group doing it. We're going to need to all work together. And again, the funding source from this was the Clackamas County Tourism and Cultural Events Center. So this was...
Sorry, not the event center, the county tourism and cultural affairs. Yes.
Yeah, so if there is one type of taxes that I think people like, it's the taxes other people pay. And these are from hotel motel taxes, overnight transient taxes. People come in from outside. So this is the best type of taxes, I think. So thank you.
Oh, my.
Any other comments for Mariah? Very good. Thank you, Mariah. Communications at this point. Seeing none. First opportunity this evening for citizen input and community announcements. Usually there's little yellow cards there at the back of the room that get filled out and brought up to me. Seeing none and not seeing anyone rushing to address us, we will move into mayor's business. Everyone want to make a big collective cough, clear it out, and we'll roll? Okay.
It's going to be noisy tonight.
Yeah,
Sounds like
pardon
a
everyone at
lot.
home, the microphones are picking up the illness going around apparently, or still hanging on. A couple of things on my end to just share, and I just had a thought and I need to capture it real quick, excuse me. And there we go. First off, I just want to kind of follow up and reiterate there's been some question about liaison position roles and what they mean and what do we do, and both I think from up here from us as well as from those of you at home. And so if I leave anything out or need some clarification, I think Kim will gladly color in the picture for me. For me, so just looking at liaison positions are designated for a number of boards and committees that we have as a city. Those committees are made up of citizens here that serve in some capacity to help out and provide some direction, share ideas with city staff, carry out some ideas. Councilors and myself are then designated out to be those liaisons, to be able to report back to the city council things that really are talked about or issues that are brought up there at the committees and boards. Our objective, to put it bluntly, it's one of those you don't need to speak unless spoken to kind of a piece. But to break that down, you will probably be asked, you'll be engaged on questions or comments or whatever. We are not to make motions or second motions or be part of the voting process of those boards or committees. Our job is to, or frankly, to even actively participate. I know we all are very passionate about the things that we get into as liaisons, and we like to jump in and share ideas and encouragement. We've got to be a little bit more of sitting back in the room and kind of listening to be observing more than participating. If there are questions or concerns brought up by the boards or committees, and you're engaged, yes, by all means, try to answer those or bring those back to us as a council for us to talk about. If there's We've not been clear on a vision piece that we're looking at or developing as we move forward, and those boards want that clarified or fleshed out, then by all means, please bring that back. And we can discuss it or make it an agenda item or flesh those out with staff and those boards. It's not uncommon for us to have group meetings with other boards and committees. We've done that with the Planning Commission, we've done that with the Library Board. So those things can happen and do happen. I know that there's the desire, if other counselors want to visit other committees that you're not maybe the liaison for, that's fine. It's a public meeting, please do that. If something comes up and you want to have thoughts or ideas that you want to share, please clear that with the liaison. Either ask them to present those pieces and/or ask if you can have time at the end of the liaison report to share some additional insight or things that were gleaned. So that way it just keeps it neat, clean. We can report back. If you can't make the meeting, it happens. We have busy lives. There are more boards and committees than there are counselors that we can't always make these things. And so all I ask is if you can't make one of the meetings of your liaison position, just that you follow up with that chair or board member and get a report so that when you come, if there is an issue. 9 times out of 10 there isn't much, but it doesn't hurt to have that connection. And that's part of our liaison role, is to be able to share with the large group that is here in the auditorium and those at home to know what our boards and committees are doing and what they are actively involved in. More times than not, there may not be a report, but it still lets the community know that we do have these committees and boards. So I just wanted to flesh that out and make sure, just add some parameters for us. I think, I don't think since Todd was brought in and former Councilor Coleman, hello, sir. It's nice to see you. It was not a conversation that we have had and fleshed out, and I just felt that it was important that we flesh that out. Kim, am I leaving anything out in that?
I think the main thing, people get confused, they think that council liaisons are voting members, and they're not.
Right.
One
Thank
thing
you.
I might want to add is we have a lot of vacancies on our current committees, and so we've been advertising it and posting it on Facebook. So please, there's a list on our webpage. Look to see if you want to apply for something.
Yeah, there is no shortage of opportunities for those of you at home to be involved in our city and what is going on. It is a great time to be involved in Canby. There's a lot going on. We're talking about new buildings and job growth and planning for the future and parks and traffic safety issues and what other issues? Adult center, and there's a ton. So there's no reason for you not to get plugged in. So
There's also smaller opportunities if you don't want to commit to a term on an advisory board. With the Main Street program, through the promotions committee, there's just opportunities to volunteer to help out with certain events as well. So if you're just interested in short-term projects, get a hold of Jamie and she can plug you into promotions for a particular event that you have a passion for.
and by all means, do not hesitate to pick up the phone and give me a call. If there's a question or you're not sure or you want to make it an agenda item or something, please feel free to do that. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. This weekend on Saturday, Trost Elementary will be doing their annual tamale making sale. So if you want some fresh made authentic tamales, contact Trost. I will be there playing with the matzah and putting it into the corn husks, and be doing that for a couple hours. So you can have tamales hand touched by the mayor.
It's worth the entertainment.
And I will not be, I will be gloved and not sick,
right?
and I'm healthy, yes.
Is the tamale eating?
The tamale eating will occur afterwards. So there's chicken, cheese, and pork tamales, and I intend to have some that evening. So yes, so come on
If
over.
you need quality control.
All right.
Let me know.
All right, we'll do that. There's no C4 so far for January. Our next meeting will be the first one here in February, so I'll give you an update then. Attended the debriefing of the Architecture Selection Committee, or I guess committee?
Yes.
Officially, it's a committee? All right.
It's an ad hoc committee.
On Monday, which Council President, new hat, discussed at our urban renewal meeting just in terms of that selection and whatnot, and I'll let Vice Chair Dale addressed that. Had the great opportunity on Tuesday to attend the Baker Prairie Middle School presentation and speaker Arun Gandhi, the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. And he, usually take my phone out of my pocket, so excuse me. I just want to be able to read something that he shared that I thought was worth sharing with everyone today. He did a great job as the Baker Prairie students. So those of you that don't know, that since Ackerman has kind of changed, they still have the Peace Garden over at Ackerman, but they've enhanced what they've done when they moved over to Baker Prairie and consolidated the two junior highs. But they have 3 pillars out front of the school, and the goal has been to bring really, truly world leaders to the school to talk and give a presentation. So one of the first ones they had a couple of years ago was after the clerk from South Africa, the president of South Africa that was involved with freeing Mandela and those pieces. An incredible presentation. And then Tuesday was a presentation with Arun Gandhi, and he talked about the students about living your life as light. And he continued his grandfather's speeches and thoughts and philosophies on nonviolence. And he asked those in attendance to read aloud this pledge, and the pledge is, live your life as light. And it is, I pledge to listen to my anger, to see what it has to teach me. I pledge to not bully or cause harm with words or with weapons. I pledge to look for the light, to see it in every situation. I pledge to find my own unique tools and talents. And I pledge to forgive myself and others. I pledge to live my life as light. And the whole piece was trying to expand on the anger when we've got situations like New York City and Ferguson and things that are going on in Paris and around the world. What he was challenging the students and those in attendance is what we can do to be that light in the world and to live in a positive way and to not ignore one's anger on something, but to address it and harness it in a different way. So it was a very well attended event. The Baker Prairie students did a wonderful job. I got to attend a luncheon that the students put on with Arun Gandhi, and it was an impressive way to spend the morning. So my hat's off to Baker Prairie, and thanks to Arun Gandhi for he's on a whirlwind Oregon trip right now, and we got to be a part of that, so it was pretty neat. And and last but not least, I want to thank Allegro Dance Studio for their incredible performance this past weekend of thank you. I totally drew my Copelia. Yes, thank you. Wow. But a very impressive. Allegro Dance Studio does an amazing job, and Joni and her team put on a great event that was very well attended. And so thank you to them for the great performance and some culture.
Who played the mayor in that? Remind me.
I do believe I did have a few cameos, yes, in that. It was a lot of fun, and
A bit of a reach there, eh, Mayor?
it was,
Top hat was
yeah,
top hat was-
somebody made the comment that I needed a little monocle and it would round out the whole Monopoly thing, but no, I mean, and it was neat to be able to watch the professionalism of all the girls that are involved in that, and frankly, I really do think my 6-year-old son stole the show, but I'm a bit biased on that one. So, but thank you. Liaison reports, we'll start there on the right with Councilor Rocha.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had my first meeting with the library board. I thought it went great. It's interesting that there was a lot of enthusiasm, which I was really excited about, on the potential of the new site. They did ask questions about the possibility of expanding the library to the adjacent lot, so those discussions we're having. A lot of discussions on layout ideas. They had some questions on how the public meetings would go and how early work permits would go, and I answered those. And I'm glad you brought up the topic of liaisons, because it's always been for me that is there to be seen and not be heard, unless you has a question. And there was a few questions that Melissa asked, and I was able to answer. And Counselor Height was there too, and I was glad, because for me, I want to answer the construction questions. I want to be able to go to the library board meetings and talk about the process, and if construction is going on and they have a question about, hey, what's that, I can tell them, I can explain it to them. I want them to be fully informed on how the whole thing works, not just, here's your project, here's the key, go start being a library. So that's my goal with the library board, and that's really all my goal is to help keep them informed when I'm asked.
When you're asked.
When I'm asked on the library. So on Parks and Rec, our city administrator, Rick, came to the meeting, and the only topic of discussion was a way to create a self-reliant parks district. At the very beginnings of these discussions, everyone there was pretty excited about it and very appreciative that Rick came in to discuss the matter. And like I said, it just started these discussions, so it's quite a ways out. But Rick had some really great ideas, and everybody there was all nodding their heads the whole time he was talking. So I appreciate you coming and doing that. And that's my report.
Great. Thank you, sir. Councilor Parker.
Thank you, Mayor. Our Arts Commission is sending out another group of requests to have artist proposals come in for additional sculptures for the city. Our Historic Review Board is working on getting some certified local government grants to do some more work. And also we have a ad hoc group, I don't know if we actually have a name for it, that's working on a community celebration during Canby's big weekend on Friday, August 28th. I guess we could call it the Ebner's Working Group. That's where that's where that meets. But one of the things that, having attended a number of the Main Street conferences nationally, that all great cities have are some signature events that people identify with, and that's what we are trying to establish here in Canby, and very excited about that. On Mr. Mayor, I want to give you a compliment on participating in the Allegro thing. I think it shows you having a very good sense of humor and being a good sport. Not everybody would do that sort of thing, and I think that's good of you.
Thank you.
And then second, concerning the dust up over the board liaison situations, I thought some of the criticism might have been off mark. Certainly, I am not reluctant to criticize our mayor anytime that I think he's made a miscue, but I think, if anything, it was a little bit awkward, but certainly no malice and nothing, no subterfuge. That I think I've been more and more impressed with the mayor's handling of the meetings and that sort of thing. So there may be plenty of things to criticize you about, but I haven't found them yet. But I don't think the liaison situation is one of them. So I just wanted to let you know that we'll keep an eye on you, but I don't think that was worthy of criticism that I've seen or heard. So,
Well, I
and
appreciate that.
that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Councilor Hensley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's see, it's been a couple weeks. Traffic Safety Commission front, we are still, they are still working on a number of items in town. In fact, we're having a Traffic Safety Commission meeting on this coming Friday, an extra one this month, so I'll have a more robust report next time. However, they did have a resident on North Hawley come in to the last meeting with some safety concerns, specifically lack of sidewalks on the going to school. They're walking their children to school, so they are looking into possibility of maybe that falling within the Safe Routes to School funding.
okay.
So there'll be, like I said, a more robust report as that develops. I spent last Monday at the Capitol watching all the legislators get sworn in and the inaugural address by the governor. That was fun, actually. I've been at the Capitol, as you know, many, many a times, but that was the first time I got to attend the inaugural, so that was kind of fun. This last Monday of this week, on a community front, is the kickoff for Canby's Relay for Life. If you're interested in participating in that June event, which will be held the last weekend in June at Ackerman Field, go to the Relay for Life Canby Facebook page. Not Canby Relay for Life. There are 2 pages for some reason, but the Relay for Life Canby, and you'll know you're at the right one when you see my husband and daughter in the tutu wrap from last month or last year as the cover photo. So if you see a 400-pound ballerina, you know you've got the right page. More on liaison reports. C4, as the mayor mentioned. It's quite a funny picture. He's a good sport.
We believe in diversity in Canby. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You gotta see, it's pretty funny. Anyway, we digress. CTV5 is my new liaison role this term, and their first meeting of the year will be tomorrow, so I'll have a report on that later. And I already mentioned traffic safety. So one last thing, on the community front, Sunday is the auxiliaries' turn for breakfast. Of course, every Sunday morning, the Legion hosts a community breakfast from 8:30 to 11, and the auxiliary does it the first and fourth Sunday. So being that it's auxiliaries' turn, it's my turn to serve you all coffee and breakfast. So if you would be so inclined to join us from 8:30 to 11 at the Post, 122, 424 Northwest First, but use the First Street, not First Street, the First Street entrance. And it's $6 for adults, $3 for children. I don't know, Councilor Dale, do you get well fed at that breakfast?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm putting it on my schedule.
Okay. Oh, and Councilor Parker mentioned the ad hoc group, the Ebner's Working Group, which I am a part of that. I don't know if that's going to be the working group name, however, but we do appreciate Ebner's for hosting us. What it is a street dance kickoff party to Canby's Big Weekend. That's what we're working on, and it's a great partnership between the city and the downtown business community, and we'll have more on that as it develops. We spent today kind of divvying up roles as to who's going to do what to put this together, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for more on that. And that concludes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Can you expand on the difference between the auxiliary doing breakfast and then the usual breakfast there at the Legion, and why it's such a significant
they
piece?
rotate. The auxiliary picks up 2 Sundays a month.
And the
then
auxiliary
it's
is?
It's the ladies who support the Legion. I'm a member of that. Then there's Sons of the American Legion that does a week, which is my husband. And then there's the Legionnaires. Post.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Which one's better?
The ladies.
You know, I was,
That's why I'm trying to press upon. She's being very.
I'm being. They're all delicious, but you know.
I hear the auxiliary one's the best one to go to, though.
Now it
Anyways,
depends on how you like your gravy.
okay.
All about the gravy.
The
Ask
ladies-
Councilor Dale.
The ladies definitely have better gravy, and they give you more of it. And they will put it on anything.
Everything.
Pancakes, fruit, bread, eggs.
You can just order a bowl of
Your
gravy.
cardiologist says
Wow.
about this?
Oh, my goodness. It's,
I better not tell my workout friends that I could be in trouble the next Monday.
you'll lose your CrossFit membership.
I could.
You'll be there every day.
Yeah.
And with that,
Thank you, sir.
on the urban renewal front, we hit a major milestone this week and tonight. Moving forward on the civic building project, the Architectural Selection Committee has recommended to the agency the firm of Scott Edwards and Associates. You'll sometimes hear them called SEA, like Seattle. They are, however, located in Portland, local firm. Very, very well known for their work in city halls and libraries. And so our administrator, Rick Robinson, will be pursuing a contract with them. So of the big 3 to select, the construction manager, the architect, and the general contractor, we're now 2 out of 3 and moving right along. So good reasons to celebrate there. On the Canby utility front, we'd like to congratulate Bob Cornelius for being elected chairman again for this year.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. And the Canby Utility Board does wonderful things under his leadership. The Canby Utility Board has an opening that they're looking to fill. Members are limited to 2 terms, and one of their members has termed out, and so there's an opening. I'd encourage you to check it out. Talk to Bob, come to some meetings. They're on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays, 7 o'clock at Canby Utility Headquarters. It's very interesting. You'll learn a lot about utilities. You can have an opportunity as a citizen to participate in setting setting power and water rates. But more importantly, you'll get to have a voice and input in planning for Canby's future of water and power. It's very interesting work. So check that out. Applications, Kim, are on our city webpage, and you can just click the link. Come to City Hall, ask for Kim, we'll fix you right up. Quarterly reporting for Canby Utility has just come out, and this time they have exceeded on every major metric. They've greatly exceeded industry standards. That is, exceeded to the good. Canby Power is far more reliable and consistent than the industry standards. And so that's another, in addition to great rates in Canby, you have very reliable power. So congratulations to the fine men and women at Canby Utility for achieving that. And with that, my report is done, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Quick question for you, Council President Dale. The search for a general manager, how's that going?
The search for general manager, what we call a headhunting firm, a recruiting firm, is running Canby Utilities' general manager search. They have gotten quite a number of applications in from around the country, and the firm is now winnowing those down to a good set of candidates that they'll then take to the board, which they can then pursue and interview.
Okay.
And it's getting closer every day. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Cornelius?
The closeout on accepting applications is the end of this month. So as soon as that happens, things are going to just start moving forward real fast.
Okay. Thank you both. And with their first liaison reports, Councilor Height.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. So I attended a few. I was at the library board meeting with Todd, and I'll talk about a couple of the programming things. That's what's exciting to me, of course, as a library lover. There was a big event at the end of December called the Art Buffet. They'd never done that. 50-plus people came. I brought my kids. So just piles of craft materials and whatnot, and kids painted, and adults participated too. So that was quite successful. They had a meditation program for the first time, and that was quite good turnout too. About 35-plus people came, so that was good. And they mentioned that the Canby Herald, anything that ends up in the Herald seems to attract more patrons, which is interesting. So thanks to the Canby Herald for their good coverage. It brings people to the library. American Civil Rights Struggle film is going to be shown in January. They applied for StoryCorps, an NPR audio program that's been going on across the country. We might get on with that, which would be cool. A new website, sitemaps in the works. It'll be more user-friendly. And then the foundation, this is exciting. The Library Foundation just purchased a new electronic reader board or screen for the foyer to advertise library events. And that will also benefit the Friends, too, so anything going on there. And that can be used in the new building, which is totally cool. So a little, it'll be fun now and later. So good for them. And then CAT, I attended my first CAT board meeting, and there was a longtime board member, Sandra Cranston, who I didn't know, but she resigned recently, but her position was filled right away with someone else applying, so that's pretty cool. So there's one less vacancy, and Walt Daniels was there, which is really great to see him. The bus lot construction, as you probably know, is going to be taking place soon. They think that will take about 90 to 120 days to complete, weather depending. They had a general public survey recently. 250 came back, pretty good. They were pleased with that turnout for their surveys, their CAT surveys. What else? Oh, and they mentioned an all-city department earthquake drill that I'm sure you all know about. You guys, February 11th at 2:11 p.m. Apparently, city staff, including the CAT bus drivers, are going to do an earthquake drill for 1 minute. So if you're riding the bus, look out. They're going to pull over and do an earthquake drill. So that sounds fun. School board was the same night. There was a CARE award presented by Kiwanis to a teacher, Karen Seawald, who's a music teacher at 91 in Karis. That was pretty cool. There's always a spotlight at all of these school board meetings. The spotlight was on some 91 kids, and they presented their house colors, what they're doing with small group theory there. That was neat. It was School Board Appreciation Month in January, so we had a little cake reception for the school board members. So if you want to send them an email, too, and say, thanks, guys. They're good volunteers, like we are. And then lastly, this was interesting, the Canby Grove Experiential Charter School gave an hour-long presentation asking the board to consider approving them for Canby. They have 100 students in the area that are interested in applying if they're allowed to open their doors. The school board will vote sometime in February on whether they'll go ahead with that. So that's potentially a big deal in Canby. So stay tuned for that. And then lastly, I attended the newly elected official training for regional counselors, and that was fun. It was in Sherwood all day and learned a lot, so I'm ready to go.
Perfect. Great report, thank you. Before we move into the consent agenda, piece that I left off of my notes and was in light of the recent boulder and car accidents along 99E, reached out to Chief Smith and Chief Davis to just kind of get their input on whether those were there truly safety issues that caused the accidents, or were they just that they were just accidents. And the assessment that I got from my conversations was that they were just unfortunate accidents that occurred. That they will go back and take a look and see, are there some safety issues or not along there? But it seemed that it was just an unfortunate, couple unfortunate pieces. So I know there's been some questions to me by people out at home and about that, and that's a dangerous stretch, and what are we doing, and what are we looking at, and really the police and the fire haven't really don't have any clear issues that are causing said accidents. That it was just they were car accidents, and as unfortunate as they are, but they will keep an eye on it and revisit and look at it. And I know Rick is aware of those things as well. So I just wanted to give everyone that up. We'll move into the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the minutes of the January 7th, 2014 City Council work session and regular meeting, the January 7th, 2014 City Council special meeting, and reappointment of Robert Maxwell to the Canby Utility Board for a term to expire on February 28th, 2018.
Great, thank you. Motion made by Council President Dale and seconded by Councilor Hensley to approve the consent agenda, which include the adoption of the minutes of the January 7th, 2015 City Council work session and regular meeting, the January 7th, 2015 City Council special meeting, and reappointment of Robert Maxwell to the Canby Utility Board for a term to expire on February 28th, 2018. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. Kim, resolutions and ordinances.
The first item we have is Resolution 1207. This is a resolution for the City of Canby to participate in the Public Employees Retirement System Unused Sick Leave Program. And Amanda Zeiber is here to present this item.
As Amanda comes up, let me give you just some real quick background. This is an issue that has been pending for some time, and I just felt it was really important to bring it forward to you. I asked Amanda to prepare the staff report and recommendations on it, as she's real well versed in this topic, but she's bringing it forward at my request.
Thank you. So you have before you Resolution 1207. A little bit of background on that. The city participates in the PERS program for our retirement or employee retirement program, which is the Public Employee Retirement System, the state retirement plan. As part of that plan, there's a local government rate pool of which the city participates. We're a member of that pool. There's 491 eligible agencies that participate in this rate pool. There's 491 eligible agencies, 366 participate, and we're one of those. That pool consists of cities, counties, special districts that can join, state agencies, community colleges, and public institutions of higher education are required to be part of that pool. And then other Oregon school districts actually participate in a different pool. So as part of that rate pool, one of the things that is included is a benefit called the unused sick leave program, and it's a benefit that we have not yet implemented here. Yet it's part of the rate pool, so it's something that, although the cost is minimal, and I don't have a number to that, there isn't a specific number, it is included in that rate pool, and we're not taking advantage of that benefit. So this resolution is an opportunity for you to approve the city to participate in the unused sick leave program. What that benefit entails is employees are eligible to earn sick leave each month. And when they separate from the city, any unused but accrued sick leave just goes away. With the exception of when they retire, we have contracts that allow a partial payout of that upon retirement only. The rest of the unused sick leave at retirement and at any other separation, and all of it would be gone. Nothing happens to it. This program allows a portion of that sick leave to be reported to PERS at an employee's separation, and throughout an employee's career, any unused sick leave for any agency that they work for that participates in this program is reported to PERS, and the 50% of that sick leave can be calculated as part of their final average salary. When employees retire and PERS calculates what their retirement payout is going to be, one of the calculations that's used is the final average salary. And I think every calculation uses the final average salary. The portion of this unused sick leave can be used to increase that final average salary. The way this would work is, I can give an example of an employee that makes a salary of about $60,000. The final average salary is the 3 highest years or the 36 highest months of salary. If you had some unused sick leave that was reported to PERS throughout your career, say you worked at 6 different agencies and there was 100 hours per agency, so you had 600 hours of sick leave reported to the agency, 300 hours could be calculated into that final average salary, so it would increase and subsequently increase what your retirement payout could be. Once you opt into the unused sick leave program, you can't opt out. However, there's 3 tiers in PERS, Tier 1, Tier 2, and OPSERP. Only Tier 1 and Tier 2 are eligible for the unused sick leave program. OPSERP is not, so it will eventually phase itself out on its own anyway, because all new members coming into PERS are coming in under that 3rd OPSERP tier. I don't know if that was clear. If you want more information specifically about how the calculation works, in our demographics for our city as far as what tier people are in, about 45% of our employees are in Tier 1 and Tier 2, and the rest are in OPSERP. So this would only affect about 45%.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What is OPSERP?
OPSERP, it's the Oregon Public Service Retirement Plan. It's the 3rd tier of PERS. The way you get into a certain tier is Tier 1 is anyone that was hired into a PERS-covered position prior to January 1st of 1996. Tier 2 is anyone from that date to a date in August of 2003, and then OPSERP's anything after that.
PERS life. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Well, Amanda, one of the reasons that I thought that this program is helpful is that it does encourage people not to carelessly take sick leave, that it does give it some intrinsic value, that it removes the temptation of just using it as extra vacation days.
That's true, and I wish I could say that never happens, but it's a good point that you bring up, because if a person is coming close to their separation, maybe they've given a 2-week notice or they're going to retire in 30 days, they know they're going to lose that sick leave. When you are retiring, you can cash out a portion of it. If you're just separating because you're going to work for another agency or you get terminated or whatever, you don't get to use it for any other reason. And occasionally, people do tend to use it because they know that it's just going to go away. We do have some partnering agencies such as Canby Utility, the Fire District. They also participate in this program.
What is the long-term financial impact?
No different than what it's already calculated into our rates.
Do you have a question?
Oh, so it doesn't change the calculation of retirement pay that we're doing today?
It doesn't change what the city pays for their rate to the PERS program. It could affect an individual member's payout at retirement if they have accrued and unused sick leave that's reported.
But does not impact the city itself?
It does not.
Okay.
Nope.
And did I hear you right? This allows them to, in effect, bank it as they go regardless of reason for termination? They don't have to retire to enjoy the benefit?
Correct. Right now, the only way that you get any sick leave benefit when you separate from the city of Canby is upon retirement.
Right.
And you can cash out 50% of your sick leave up to a certain dollar amount, which would still leave 50% that would just go away. In this case, that 50% that's accrued and unused and not paid out of retirement would be reported to PERS. From just a general separation, right now, you don't get any of it in anyway. It just is unused. And that portion would be reported to PERS.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was important to bring this forward to you for a determination, because since the rate has already been, or the value of this has already been factored in, and we're already paying it, it seemed counterintuitive not to adopt it and accept it as something that would accrue both to our benefit if it reduces sick leave abuse and to the benefit of retiring employees without incurring any additional cost. And my underlying goal was to get the question answered rather than having an unresolved question.
Gotcha. Very good.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Ready? Thank you, Amanda.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I move for resolution number 1207, a resolution for the city of Canby to participate in the Public Employees Retirement System, PERS, unused sick leave program.
Motion's on the table. Any conversation or question?
A second before you have conversation.
Okay, I'll take a second then.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Counselor Height. Now I suppose I'll throw it out there for conversation and question.
I got burned on that once.
No? I now have felt it, thank you. All right. So the motion's been made by Council President Dale and seconded by Councilor Height to approve Resolution 1207, a resolution for the City of Canby to participate in the Public Employees Retirement System, known as PERS Unused Sick Leave Program. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes 5-0.
I would note just for the record that I am not eligible for this program, and that is not the reason I brought it forward.
Probably is a fair thing to say on camera. It's good.
That was good, Rick.
That
Thanks.
was good. Nice.
Okay, the next item we have is ordinance 1410. This is authorizing a contract with GT General Contracting in the amount of $230,000, $230,301.44 for Southwest 4th Avenue Road improvements.
Yes, and I need to give you a little bit of background because this has come to you with some initial controversy. Upon the award to the apparent low bidder for this contract, we did receive a protest letter from Whiteman Excavation. And the form of the protest was that Whiteman Excavation had indicated the apparent low responsible bidder had failed to list a concrete subcontractor on the subcontractors list, a factor that's a requirement in the bid documents. We did reach out to the apparent low bidder and determined that, in fact, the apparent low bidder would be self-performing the concrete work, and so there was no violation or failure to meet all of the conditions precedent to the award, and so it is my recommendation to you, and I did include my Whiteman's protest and my response. My response is to reject the protest based on a failure of Whiteman to show that GT General Contracting was not a non-responsive bidder. So my recommendation to you is to award as proposed.
Interesting piece here, Rick. There's a few names, new names on this list that I'd not seen before, or at least in a long time.
In bidders?
In terms of bidders. And the huge disparity between number 1 and number 10 is pretty significant. 230,000 versus 332,000. That's pretty wide gap. So, thank you. And can you speak a little bit to this project and what we're looking at here?
Yes, this is Southwest 4th Avenue. Yes, Southwest 4th Avenue, which is a street immediately behind McDonald's and Burgerville. It is, and I'm not sure whether it's receiving Safe Routes to School funding or if we're funding it and treating it as a Safe Routes program, but it is a project that is designed to improve access for students to the different eateries down in that area. Right now, it's kind of a free-for-all as students walk from their classroom and their campus at lunch hours and into day to get things to eat and to go where they would socialize. So this should improve overall flow. We did have some early conversations both with the business owners that could have been affected by the closure and with the school that they were concerned initially about the project and how it might impede their access to school grounds. We were able to resolve all of those issues to both business satisfaction and school satisfaction, and it's my understanding that this project is supported going forward.
And we're talking sidewalks, lights.
Sidewalks, lights, and new asphalt.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
It will cost us a couple trees in that area. There are a couple pretty nice fir trees that were just in the wrong place to be able to successfully complete the project. So if you get a complaint, it's not that we didn't try to save every tree. It's just that some were just placed in such a way that we had to remove them.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt ordinance 1410, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to execute a contract with GT General Contracting in the amount of $230,301.44 for Southwest 4th Avenue roadway improvements and declaring an emergency.
Great. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilor Hensley and seconded by Councilor Rocha to approve ordinance number 1410, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and city administrator to execute a contract with GT General Contracting in the amount of $230,301.44 for the Southwest 4th Avenue roadway improvements and declaring an emergency. Questions or comments? Discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
The next item we have is ordinance 1411. This is authorizing a contract with Herd Farms for wastewater sludge removal.
This one is also mine. As you know, our wastewater treatment facility handles and ultimately disposes of the effluent generated throughout the city. In order to handle the sludge created as a byproduct of the process undergone that this product undergoes, we have a contract with Herd Farms for the removal of this sludge. And what Herd Farms does is they take the final product, they load it in their trucks, and they move it out to their farms. They treat it, and then they're able to use it, to reuse it as a compost fertilizer combination in their fields. And it's a very effective way and the most cost-effective way for the city to dispose of the sludge, and it provides a reuse strategy for a material that otherwise would wind up in the landfill. We had entered into a 2-year agreement with a price not to exceed $149,000. We're not quite through the 2-year agreement. However, we've run up against that $149,000 limitation. In order to address this in a relatively short order, since it looked like we were going to run out of appropriation authority by the end of this month or the beginning of early part of next month, I suggested, and so we proceeded with the development of a new contract under the same general model that we had used initially about 20 months ago, except with a limitation of $75,000 rather than $149,000. The basis for my determination to, and Joe had indicated, and I appreciate the input, that we could have gone to the full $149,000, but I wanted a catalyst, a process that ensured or assured that we would be revisiting this issue in the short term with an idea that I would like to develop a longer-term contract with an annual not to exceed, with perhaps some COLAs and price escalators, so we can develop a longer-term relationship with Herd Farms and be able to handle this effluent without having to come every 18 to 20 months to ask you to redo something that really is a good deal. What Herd Farms is giving us is about $20 a ton less than we would be paying if we were transporting to our landfill. So for us it's a good deal, for Herd Farms it's a good deal, but it was kind of one of my underlying objectives was to create a stimulus for us to revisit this sooner rather than later so we could put together a long-term agreement. Now, I will tell you that my methodology will probably result in us competitively bidding this process, even though I don't anticipate a more than one proposal or one bid. But I'm telling you this because one of my underlying objectives is to get a price per ton without having to cap, except based on budgetary authority, the annual expenditures, and then rely on our budgetary authority and the budget process to define what the annual costs are going to be, rather than trying to contractually do something that really doesn't fit. It's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. The effluent amount is going to be whatever is generated. So we want to track based on the total tonnage rather than having to create a cap to fit a different model. So I'll be working with Joe and with Dave at the wastewater treatment facility as we work forward with Herd Farms and any other interested bidder to see if we can develop a long-term solution.
The root cause that brought us to this point was a piece of equipment that we purchased, installed, didn't work, and so has since been removed. What's the plan for that? Obviously, that piece of equipment is still needed. Are we still investigating whether or not that's a solution to pursue, or is this our solution?
This is our solution for disposal.
Okay.
The other product, in my conversations with wastewater treatment staff, the other thing that we invested quite a bit of money in didn't really accomplish what we had set out to accomplish, and so it probably won't be the long-term solution.
Okay.
Some of the plant retrofitting that you and the improvements that you have approved over the last 60 to 90 days, and remember the first thing I had to present to you was a wastewater contract, not knowing anything about wastewater. But I assure you I know a whole lot more now than I ever thought I would.
Fast education.
Yes. But I think that we have some solutions on the horizon that will improve the air quality, which is kind of the underlying driving force between the precedent to every conversation that we have with people that are affected by the odors in the area. We have some plant changes that we think will have a significantly and noticeable, significantly improved and noticeably better air quality as its outcome.
Great. Thank you, sir.
It'll never be perfect, but we think we can make it better.
Good. Excellent. Any questions or comments for staff at all on this one? Okay, motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt ordinance number 1411, an ordinance authorizing the city of Canby to enter into a contract with Herd Farms for wastewater sludge removal and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. A second, please.
Second. Todd.
Everyone's
Thank you, Councilor Rocha. Motion's been made by Councilor Hensley and seconded by Councilor Rocha to approve ordinance number 1411, an ordinance authorizing the city of Canby to enter into a contract with Herd Farms for wastewater sludge removal and declaring an emergency.